Good morning. How are you? You won't be able to see anybody, Marion, but we are here. We're live, and this morning for Gogglefrogs episode, is it 78?
No, 74. Brigitta's already there.
Thank you.
Morning, Brigitta.
We have a lovely guest with us today, which is Marion. Marion Dye is with me in her chair. I'm on my couch, she's on her chair, and I'd like to welcome you to this morning's Gogglefrogs. So I don't know what the weather's like in your part of the world, but I am sure that if you've got a pair of knitting needles or a crochet hook, it doesn't matter what's happening outside. Inside, it's wonderful. So I hope you've got a cup of tea, and I have to apologise, it's not in my branded mug today. It's in a little V&A one, a Victoria and Albert one. So it's okay. If you've got a cup of tea.
Gibson. I couldn't find my knitting one.
So a huge good morning. And it's always lovely to welcome our a friend, a fellow crafter, and somebody that we've either known for a long time or only a little bit of time. But it's lovely to welcome Gogglefroggers to the couch, so to speak. So I want to say thank you, Marion, because it wasn't very long ago that you said, oh, I might regret this, but I'm happy to come on the couch if ever, because you've always said you're welcome to come on with us. So anyway, thank you ever so much. So you'll have chit chat from me and from Marion today. So that's great. And I do think, Marion, you've got one of your own hand knitted creations on, haven't you, today?
Yes. This Brigitta and Lindy might recognise it from yarn I purchased in Sheringham earlier this year. And Robert went, oh, I like that. And I said, well, if I've got any left over, you can have it. So he's currently working at with it at the moment. It's Katia Jaipur and massive cakes, pattern of yarn, that is. Mind you, I wouldn't mind a cake, come to that. Yeah, and the pattern is courtesy of Jackie Taylor. It's boxy. It's a free one off Ravelry. Don't ask me who it's by because I can't remember.
Oh, that's lovely. I love the colours. It's so bright.
It is.
But not fluorescent bright. It's just beautiful, bright colours. Yeah, and it looks lovely on you. So thank you for wearing something hand knitted today. I haven't, because I'm downstairs and I've got me one bag of secret projects back on. So I've got hundreds of colours. I went out to a yarn shop yesterday, so in a little while I'll tell you what I bought. You'll be very pleased with me, or not pleased with me, as the case may be. So yeah. So anyway, Marion, you can choose today. So everybody can see you and me, but we can't see anybody else. So but we can go into the chat and have a look at that. So let's see who's on. Do you want to go top to bottom or bottom to top today?
Oh, shall we go top to bottom? Because Brigitta's very kindly reminded us of how many program sessions.
Yeah.
You've done.
Yeah, so we've had 74. So a huge good morning to Brigitta. Hello. And also to Judy. And to Linda, good morning. And to Lindy, good morning. And to Marion, other Marion, because one of the Marions is live on the couch, so to speak. And then good morning, Safi. And good morning, Sally. And we may have other people join us, but that's where we are at the moment. And a huge good morning to everybody who watches us on replay. And you could even be watching this in 10 years' time. Who knows?
You want to see me in 10 years' time? I don't want to see me now. Never mind about 10 years' time.
That's so funny. What ends up on YouTube is there forever. So we set this up. How many weeks ago now? Are we in week 15 or 16? Don't know.
But I don't know.
We
But
set
you're
it
going
up.
to love this. Richard came up and said, there's another pandemic on the way. I went, what? And he said, yes, apparently there's pig flu coming out of China and it's transmissible to humans.
Pig flu.
Pig flu. I don't know any more than that, so don't ask me anymore.
Well, never mind. Do you know what? The great solution to this is to stay safe, stay warm, stay indoors, and do lots of knitting and crochet. So I think we're safe if we're knitting and crocheting inside.
Definitely.
So, shall we have a little bit of music then?
I'm interested to see what Robert's chosen us for today.
I know. So, Marion, if you go down to the bottom of the screen,
I found it.
And if you turn your mic off, that would be brilliant. Because the video is unavailable. If you just click yourself off mute, Marion.
What was it going to be?
So, don't know what's happened, but we've downloaded the music, which is approved because every piece of music that we play has to be approved. But something's happened that between last night and this morning, the owner of that channel has made it non-available, so we can't listen to the music.
Well, Sally just said you will have to sing to us instead. I don't think so.
No. Don't worry, we can talk for another 5 minutes.
Maybe.
Oh.
But nothing else.
Oh. So.
And then that would be basso profundo
today. But don't worry, we will talk for longer. So, I went to a yarn shop yesterday, Marion.
Yes.
Would you like to know what I bought?
Go on.
I was so good. You will not believe how little I actually bought. That's all I bought.
That's very restrained.
I know. It was. So I bought that for Secret Project because that is quite. It looks blue, but it's actually a teal colour. So I've got that. I got that blue, and then I got
like purple.
Yeah, it's like it does look purple, but it's like a sky denim blue. So it's really weird how the colours come up.
Yeah.
And then I've got these two little ones. These are Rico Rumi. And I know they may not mix because this is cotton, but I just love the colours. And
so what do you think you'll do with those?
It's a Secret Project.
Oh, it's those. That looks lovely.
Thank you. So lots of stuff for the Secret Project for a very special person. You know who. So
and you can't tell us what it is, just in case he listens in.
I know. So I know, Robert, you will be listening to this on your way home from work today. So I am talking about the Secret Project, which is taking, well, it's not taking shape yet, it's taking creation at the moment. Once we start taking shape, that's when it will all go together. But there's certain things that I still need to find. So I went to the shop yesterday, and it's lovely. It's got mainly Stylecraft stuff all down one wall. Then down the middle, there's all the needles and bits and bobs. And then on the other wall, it's all fabric. So they cater for fabric, sewing, knitting, crochet. And some of the things that I spotted in there that I haven't actually seen before are the Janie Crowfoot books. You know,
no, I haven't seen any of those about. I've got a Debbie Abrahams and Janie Crowfoot where they've collaborated book.
Yeah.
But that's it. And I think I've got a Debbie Abrahams book on its own. But Janie and Debbie collaboration is really quite interesting. Debbie's knitting with beads and Janie's crocheting with beads. And I'm still threatening to learn to teach myself to crochet with beads. and I never seem to get round to it.
Maybe if there's anybody who enjoys doing that, it would be nice to set up an impromptu session at some point and just show how to, because I still have, I see beads, I see wool, I see crochet, hook or needle, and I always think, how do you thread them? I just don't know. So at some point I will hopefully do a course or a little workshop. So if there's anyone out there who would like to share what you know, please let us know, because it'd be great to set up a little session, wouldn't it? But again, I don't know how you get those tiny, tiny, tiny beads on thick wool.
Oh, when you're shown, you think, duh, it's that
Exactly.
simple. It's the fear of not the unknown, but it's like everything we do. We think, look at it, and we go, I'm not doing that. It's too difficult. And then when you actually settle down to do it, oh, that's not so bad after all.
Yeah.
But I was on another knitting group yesterday, and it was mainly younger ladies, and by young I mean in their 20s and 30s.
Wow.
And some of the stuff they're producing is absolutely incredible. The colours, the shapes. There's one girl, she only taught herself to knit at the beginning of lockdown, and she's knitted herself, wait, I couldn't quite believe this, a top-down cable jumper. Yeah, exactly. And it looked amazing.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I've been knitting for donkey's years and I haven't even done a plain top-down jumper. I'm gearing myself up to do that within the next few weeks.
Oh, wow. Oh,
and the colours they're using and the sort of yarns they're using is just out of this world.
It most certainly is.
Do you think it'd be an idea to do some of the chat?
Yes, it would. See, I'm crocheting too much, aren't I? So let's go to the top of the chat then. So Brigitte says, good morning, peeps. Episode 74. Judy, hello, everyone. Lindy says, good morning, everyone. Brigitte says, morning, ladies. What a surprise to see Marion. Angela, you have competition. Always. I love competition. Friendship. Lindy says, good to see you, Marion. Safia says, good morning, all. How lovely to see you, Marion.
It'd be lovely to see you as well, Safia. We'll have to arrange it one day.
Yes, definitely. Brigitte saying, your top looks brill, Marion, which it does. Safia says, oh, yes, Robert is doing a shawl with it. It looks amazing as a jumper on you. It really does. Linda, your boxy looks, sorry, Lindy, your boxy looks stunning in that colourway, Marion. Fabulous. Good morning, Anne Marion. It's a surprise to see you from Linda.
Yeah.
Lovely. Sally says, good morning, all. Watch on YouTube then. Share screen. Fabulous. Safi says,
I think she was talking about the musical interlude there.
I was going to, and then it's because you've got to check, because in order to put music on, it's all copyright rules, and if you play, because when we try and load into Demio, it will tell us, it gives us an error code if the copyright isn't approved. So that's why if we just go and play something, we won't have run it through the copyright processing on Demio. So that's why we don't want our wrists slapping. So yeah, we'd love to. Or actually, what I could have done is I could have played my husband. We're going to get an extra one because my husband's got 2 CDs, and so I know I'm okay with the copyright because it's my husband's stuff. So we'll get a couple of his things just in case. So we can
Didn't I hear him sing at a Le Buzz festival.
Yeah, you did actually. Yeah. Yeah.
How long ago is that now?
That must be 5 years, 6 years ago, at least.
At least.
At
if
least.
not longer.
It might be longer. I know I did actually save it. So we'll get some of my husband's stuff, because then I know I haven't got any copyright issues. Because he'd never charge me copyright, because I make his dinner whenever I'm at home, so it's fine. Safi says you'll have to sing to us instead. Honestly, there'd be no more Gogglefrogs if I started singing. I think I've got a good voice, but I haven't. Brigitte says Jackie Taylor is good at knitting with beads. Maybe she does crochet too.
No, Brigitte, she doesn't crochet.
Oh, but if she does the knitting with beads, that would be lovely if she could show us. Sally says, Marion, look at Tin Can Knits for a good top-down pattern.
Will do.
Safi says, wow, which group is that, Marion? Yeah.
Which?
With the amazing young designer.
COVID-19 knitters.
Oh, that's interesting. Tracy says, good morning. Hello, Tracy. Lovely to see you. Lindy says, sometimes it's easy to just jump into the unknown. I'll try and find the lace knitting I did years ago before I really understood how to do it. Worked from written out instructions, no chart. Wow, Lindy, that is very, very impressive.
It's thanks to Lindy that I use charts now for lace knitting, but I do like the written as well to refer to. Hello, Bubble Ups. Please come to join me. I don't know whether, yes, you can just about see a nosy head, can't you?
Oh, hello, Ollie. Ollie.
And there we go. Can we? I don't know whether.
Ollie, hello. Yeah. You're live on camera. The whole world is looking at you.
Yeah, beautiful boy.
Oh,
aren't you?
Hello.
It's not Robert today. It's not Robert.
No.
You're just nosy, aren't you? And you're waiting for Della to come. Della, I better explain, is my cleaner. She comes once a fortnight, and she's taught him to beg by putting a paw up so he gets a treat. It took her all of 5 seconds to teach him that one.
Oh, right. Well, I'm sure anything with food will work.
You'll notice I'm using my book.
That's brilliant, Marion. I'm loving it.
And it sits next to my laptop up here. So if I see anything, I use it. And when I've dealt with something, I cross it off.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah, it's absolutely perfect.
Oh, good. Glad you're enjoying it.
Yes.
Oh.
And because of the colour, Rich, you can see it as well.
Oh.
Right.
That's good.
Oh, bless Josie, Sally. Josie's now looking for Ollie. I better explain. Sally comes round occasionally and brings her little girl, Josie. Josie's also a dog. And Josie's, I hope Sally will forgive me for saying this, is tiny. She's not unadventurous, but she has a bad back. And Ollie is amazingly gentle with her. And Josie goes for the biggest of Ollie's bones. I mean the biggest, you know, like this. And she drags them from the front room into the dining room. He looks sort of bemused as though he wants them. And then she'll hide them behind the dining room table so he can't get them. Sally brings treats with her, which is usually Josie's kibble, her food. But as soon as she walks through my door, she doesn't want them because I have Lily's kitchen treats, and they are far, far superior as far as she's concerned. But Ollie will eat anything, being a Labrador. Yeah. Is that not, have I said it right, Sally? They'll either get a yes or a no. Oh, yeah, I've got it right. But they are very good together. And I think I'm right in saying that Josie was a rescue, and she wasn't keen on men. And she's now gradually getting to go to Richard, because he just sits there and he waits for her to go to him. And she's beginning to. She's beginning to. Sally, bless her, has been getting me to use my sewing machine. So, but that's had to go on the back burner since lockdown, and I really ought to get that out and do something with it.
Did you do anything with it?
Oh, before lockdown, yes, thanks to Sally.
Yeah. Oh, wow. What have you been working on?
Well, I was working on doing some bags. So I understood during Sewing Bee what sugar bagging was. I felt quite pleased with myself over that. But I haven't actually done anything much since. I did originally want to do machine patchwork, but I realized that I haven't got the dexterity in my right arm and leg to do it. But yes, Sally, you're quite right. I have learned how to put in invisible zips. I've made some cushions. I did really well in John Lewis. They had offcuts, and I got I got a piece of offcut, no price on it. So I said to the lady, "How much is it?" Oh, she says, "I'll charge you £5 for it." And there was about 1.5 meters. So I said, right, £5, yeah, I'll have it. And then we found it on the roll, £60 a metre. So, so I thought, bargain of the century. And I got 4 cushions out of it for my daughter. So
Oh,
it was gorgeous. So pale grey background with teal embroidery on it.
ooh.
And I backed them with teal, 2 square ones and 2 oblong ones. So
Oh.
but yes, and she just looked at me and she said, "I made a mistake there, but I've said it, so £5."
That's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just, yeah, this is 5. Well, it's always nice when you get a little bit of a treat or a bargain, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, I'm glad you met. And did she like them as well?
Oh yes. I ended up, because I knew they needed new cushions, I ended up making 7 for them for last Christmas, because I didn't know what they wanted.
Yeah.
I'll put pictures of them on our Facebooks. Oh, it's Throwback Tuesday, isn't it? I could have put pictures on.
It is. It's Throwback Tuesday.
I'll put them on the iPad.
And then we can have a look. But that'd be lovely. It's always nice seeing work that's finished and done.
I've just got to find them.
Oh, well. I'm sure we will. So I hope everybody else is having a really good day as well. And I think there's a few comments about the start of the show. I think is Ollie so far today. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look. Anne says good morning, everyone. Sally says, haha, Josie is now looking for Ollie, which is hilarious, which Marion explained. Brigitte says, woof woof, Ollie. Tracy says, Ollie is a superstar, such a stunning looking dog. He is. He's huge, absolutely huge. His head is just bigger than most labs. He's just bigger than most dogs. He's lovely. Sally says, absolutely, mine too. You've learnt zips. They looked amazing, those cushions. And Lindy
I
said,
deleted them.
oh, did you?
I'll ask my daughter to send some over.
Yeah. Lindy says you were very lucky with that bargain, Marion. I never really find anything that good, and the cushions did look good. So I'm sure we will see them at some point.
Even my son-in-law said that they were nice, and you don't get that often. You know, men don't. Oh, yeah, it's cushions. You know, but, yeah. So I wonder why I did delete them. Never mind.
I don't know.
Neither do I.
We do all these things, don't we? Yeah. So
I would like to learn how to do continental knitting, I've decided. Because I watched it on a YouTube video, and I did try, but I managed one stitch.
It's persevering, isn't it? And doing something that is naturally not as comfortable as the old-fashioned traditional way.
Yeah, because I throw, apparently. I didn't know it was called throwing.
Yeah. I can do knitting continental style, but I find purling continental style a little bit too difficult. So I have to alternate my styles, do one style one way and another style the other for my pearls. So
I remember you saying that before. You see, this would have been a good project to learn on because it's knitted in the round. So, yeah. This is another boxy jumper I'm knitting.
I didn't even think about that. When you're knitting the round, it is all knit, so I wouldn't have to purl. So
no, until you get to divide for the armholes.
Yeah.
But,
that's good. I'll have a look at that. Oh, so let me.
Oh, what yarn? Does Sally mean what yarn I'm currently using at the moment?
Oh, we've got Robert.
Hello, Robert.
Robert, how are you? You can't see this, Robert. Ha ha ha. Well, you can do, but you won't know what it is. But this is part of the secret project. So
it's purple, and Jackie wants it.
Huh?
Oh, it's purple, and Jackie wants it. Sally said she wants to see what I'm currently knitting. Right. I'll show you the cake first. Well, one of the cakes.
Oh, yes, please.
It looks like that.
Oh, that's a nice one.
And then it knits up like that.
What kind of a cake is that? Because that's lovely.
It was all one skein. And it was too big for the, what's it thing? The ball winder.
The Swift.
And it's only 500 grams of yarn. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's going to be a 4-ply. I don't know whether you can see how fine it is.
Yeah.
But it actually knits up as DK, or I suppose, would that be a sport weight?
Might be, yeah.
So, and what am I using on it? 3.5s. Oh. So I'm very nearly at where I split for the arms, and I've got that much left.
That's lovely.
It feels quite rough, but there must be a lot of lanolin left in it because my hands are really soft.
Yeah.
Really, really soft.
And Sally's said 3/4 sleeves?
No, it's
Question
the
mark?
same pattern as this one, Sally. So,
All right.
yeah. Oh, Anne says can't see anything. Oh, right. I will. That's the cake, Anne. Can you see? Can you see that? And this is it knitted up. I don't know whether you can see, but the shading. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can.
The shading is so gradual that you don't realise when you're knitting it that it is actually changing colour.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
Well,
and
Anne still can't see it.
Can't see anything. And if you want to refresh your screen, because it's possibly your broadband. It's normally when your upload speed or download speeds just had a bit of a blip. So you just refresh and then it should come back for you. And George says, morning, sorry I'm late, I had to sort out mum. You're never late, Georgie, and I hope your mum's okay. And so lots and lots and lots of comments on your wool. So that's lovely. Robert's had to go. Goodbye, Robert, and we'll see you again soon. Well, actually, Robert, we will see you tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock.
What?
Because Gogglefrogs' new time slot on a Wednesday is 8 p.m. So see you all then, and hopefully that will allow you to get your dinner out of the way and have a cup of tea and possibly a ginette or two.
Or 3.
4, yeah. Sally says, oh, lovely, very nice. Lindy says, Angela, do you find your tension changes when you knit English but pearl continental style? Do you know what? I don't know. My tension tends to change dependent on the needles I'm using and also how tired I am. So when I've been knitting for hours and hours, it gets looser and looser and looser. When I knit continental style, it is. Do you know what? It's not even tight then. It's like the normal tension, but I'll have to check that next time, Lindy. I'm not too sure. And then, so hopefully Anne has got that back. Safi says it's gorgeous looking yarn, which it is. And Lindy, sorry, I do have to double check with my glasses. Like Lindy says, like the way the colour changes, subtle rather than immediate. Yeah, they are lovely.
I bought this yarn in Latvia, in Riga.
Oh.
And I don't think it was more than, if it was 20 euros, I doubt it.
Wow.
I really do doubt it. Because I think I got it, you could even buy it off the market there. And there was just one shop that actually is quite famous because do you remember in the raffle for Virtual Regional Day, I put in a kit to make Latvian mitts.
Yeah.
The shop I got them from is apparently world renowned for those mittens. And there was a whole bank. Oh, how big was it? Let's see. Go to the spotted sheep. Oh, Safia and some of us can't do that. And the whole back wall was covered in different designs of mittens.
Wow.
And then the boxes were with the kits in were elsewhere. Unbelievable.
Wow.
And that's all they sold was the mitten kits and skeins of yarn.
Oh. And out of all of your travels then, Marion, which is the best country and also shop? Because you travel everywhere to buy wool, don't you? So where's your favourite haunt?
Well, it depends what you want. If you want the hand-dyed, then strangely enough, I'd say Canada for the hand-dyed, followed closely by Norway and the Latvia and Estonia. But if you want some things like Katia, which is manufactured in Portugal, I do check and make sure it was made in Portugal before I buy it. Then you want Portugal, Madeira, and the Azores. So it depends what you're looking for. Very often, though, I find in the Azores, Madeira, and Portugal, you get the likes of Katia yarns before they make it to the UK.
Yeah.
And Germany is great for sock yarns, as is Norway and Sweden and Finland. But they're also, the Baltic countries are also great for what we'd call fair, you know, the beautiful big jumpers with the designs on the around the shoulder. And some of the Norwegian designs are out of this world. I think they're a lot more modern than what we've got here in the UK.
Oh, right.
And what I'm noticing is now I'm beginning to buy European patterns through the internet because they are so much more forward thinking. They're not the straight up and down, you know, they're more body shape aware, and they're more adjustable.
Yeah.
Which means by turn I'm needing to buy yarn from abroad to fit the patterns, and that's why I bought yarn from Hobby, because I'm going to do a Danish yarn's great, top down. So I bought yarn from Hobby to do that in, because I didn't want to spend a lot, and went on my first ever top down. In Denmark, hand spun and hand dyed is cheap because nobody wants to use it.
Really?
Really? Because I mentioned that in the shop. I think it worked out at less than £10 for 100-gram skein. And I went, that's cheap, I'll have that lot. And she said nobody wants to use it. They want to use Rowan, and they want to use Erica Knight and Louisa Harding, and Norrow and things like that. And I'm saying, but no, back in the UK now, we're beginning to really go into hand dyed and hand spun. And that's what they're doing in the Netherlands as well. They're going into hand dyed and hand spun.
Oh, which is always lovely, isn't it? I think because no two are ever exactly the same.
No.
There's quality control on all your commercial. I know this is acrylic, but and then you look at something like Norrow or something, because I have bought from, in the Spotted Sheep, there's 2 companies from Edlesborough, aren't there? From Edlesborough Sheep. And I know I've bought that. And do you know what? It is beautiful wool. There's a cream one, and then there's a brown one. And it's not scratchy at all. And it's really quite reasonable. So I made myself some little fingerless gloves, a little while ago. But I just love the fact that you do see changes in colour. You do see changes in thickness, in density, etc. And that's all part of that natural fibre, and the hand spun or more locally produced stuff. So interesting.
Yeah, Lindy's made a very good point. Do you think it might be because the branded name yarns are repeatable, but the hand dyed can be more variable and more difficult at times to work into a large garment? I think you could well be right there, Lindy. Plus the fact hand spun, hand dyed, you've got to then ball it. So you need that equipment, not necessarily. And you might need, if you need an extra amount, it then becomes quite quite expensive. I looked, I mean, all know I love You Felty Thing. And I want to do one of her jumpers. Now, one of her jumpers, it's a top down. She's doing the design herself, so it's currently being test knitted. It's going to cost me about 120, 130 pounds. Whereas if I was to even do it in Erica Knight, it would be less than that. So I think cost might come into it as well. And even if I was to do it in Rowan, it would probably still be cheaper. And of course, with hand dyed, hand spun, there's a limited amount of the same dye lot. So yeah. But I love the hand dyed stuff. I really do.
I think it's because it's so unique as well, isn't it? When you look at the colour changes. And they do recommend that if you're doing a jumper, then keep alternating the balls. So don't do one ball, then another ball. You're supposed to keep alternating. I don't know whether everybody does. I don't actually bother because I like it as part of the design.
Yeah.
And the features, because then when there's that irregularity, it is definitely hand dyed and hand spun. So I love that look, but not everybody does. So it's not, I mean, it's nice to support anything the crafting industry, isn't it? And we all have our, I did spend money on what I will term it's good quality, it's style craft, but it certainly isn't some of the stuff that I've got. And I can't wait to get home and pick up some Noro.
Well, Anne can see us now.
Hey, that's brilliant.
And Brigitte has said we wouldn't buy a jumper costing over £100, but happily buy yarn and spend hours knitting one. Yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
Because it gives us so much pleasure.
Did you see the Dawn actually posted something in the group the other day, and it was about some Japanese knitters, and you could order their jumpers through the internet, and she said that there's a lot that goes into. After the tsunami, they had thought, how can we actually grow our economy, because a lot of it had gone. So they started knitting, probably hand dyeing as well. And when I looked at one of the jumpers on there, it was over £1,000.
They're not undervaluing their time, so I can quite understand the cost. Safia said hand dyed can end up really expensive. If I was to do the Love Note top in the yarn they suggested, it was a 4-ply and a mohair held together, it would easily have come to £80 plus. I'm doing it in King Cole Embrace for £15, and I don't blame you, Safia. I really don't. You've fit the yarn to suit your budget or to suit your lifestyle. If I'm knitting something for a child, acrylic every time. It's got to be easy to use for the mum. And Lindy says, I also think that some knitters want to produce a garment which looks handcrafted and more commercial. They don't embrace the variability of hand dyed, hand spun. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, there's a time and place for everything, isn't there? And there are certain patterns that I have, and I know I've costed this blanket, and it is done in Noro yarn, and that will cost me nearly £450 for the yarn, and I have not invested in it at all yet, but I would like to do it in Noro, but that is huge investment. And I know, do you know what, I know I can do it with stuff that I have in my stash, so that's what I will probably do. But like you said earlier, sometimes it's when you're knitting with something, because of the high lanolin, it's easy to knit with, and there are certain wools that I try and knit with, and I can't, because my hands just dry out within a few rows. And I know I've just got strange skin, a really sensitive skin, so I've got to be careful with some of the acrylics because I can't use all of them, but I love acrylic wool, so yeah, I just have to keep trying. But I love all things wool. I think all of us do, don't we?
Yeah.
We love all of it. Right.
Do you want to do what's on the Facebook page?
Oh my God, it's 46.
Yes.
You see, this is what happens when you're chit-chatting with somebody else. And time is just running away. So, yes, I will. I've just refreshed the page again. Thank you, Marion. I'd have totally forgotten about that. I thought we were only about 20 past.
Well, going back to costs, whilst you're looking at that, I do not bat an eyelid spending £100 on a Debbie Abrahams kit to make a cushion cover.
Yeah.
Would I spend £100 on a cushion cover in a shop? I doubt it.
No. Oh. So anyway, into Throwback Tuesday. So Fran has put, lifted from her Ravelry page as I no longer have everything I've made. Bee sweater pattern from Patty Knox's book. New directions in Fair Isle knitting, made for my eldest in Shetland wool around 35 years ago and worn by all of them and very carefully hand washed by me. By the time it got photos taken when I joined Ravelry, it was far from new, so a little battered. Tumbling blocks cushion, calf facet. Oh my God, that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible, Fran. I love the bumblebee.
It's amazing. Those colours, aren't they vibrant?
I want to knit it. I want to knit it. That calf facet. And do you know what? This morning, was it this morning or yesterday morning on LBC on Steve Allen about 4 a.m. in the morning, he actually mentioned calf facet as a knitter who had a show in the 80s and did very well.
Long?
Huh?
Has Kay Fassett been going that long?
Yeah, he was famous in the 80s.
Well, how old is he now then?
About 102.
Yeah. And he's still coming up with new ideas.
Yeah. But you see, these are lovely, aren't they? Oh, and the good old teapot. We love a teapot.
I know what that reminds me of, but I'm not going to say.
I have no idea. Oh, my God. I'll leave you to your own thoughts there. So thank you ever so much. That was brilliant. I love that, Fran. What an amazing collection. Brigitte said for Throwback Tuesday, my first year at grammar school, I was 11. We had to knit socks in our handbaiten lesson. Literally translated to handworks. After knitting a pair for myself, I used up the rest to knit a mini pair. They were joined by a thread and a hook about somewhere till it broke. My mum had kept them, and I found them amongst her haberdashery, which she brought back after they had died. Look at these.
Aren't they dinky?
They're so amazing. Thank you so much, Brigitte. And I love the fact that you put that pound coin there so we can see how teeny, teeny, tiny they are. They're lovely. Oh, well done. Right, let's have a quick look. Linda Phillips, Throwback Tuesday. Although not very old, 6 years ago, my smashing daughter-in-law, sorry, Dill, had asked if I could make her a wrap to wear on our wedding day over a grandmother's wedding dress. How lovely. I had to adapt the shape to become an oblong from a triangle to crochet lace weight and all individually made flowers. That is stunning. And using a join as you go method. Thank you so much. How special that there were two items that were the main event, the bride's dress and the bride's cape or wrap. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Linda. That's beautiful. And now on to Homespun Vintage by Brigitte, a book on her shelf, mixture of knitting and crochet projects. Oh, they look nice. So it's called Homespun Vintage and by Jane Crowfoot. Tracy has said 7 years ago. Where was that now? Sorry, it's just 7 years ago. Not that vintage. Probably one of the first things I knitted for years. Oh, look at this.
Well, that's a sort of an emu, one of Rod Hell's emus.
It's a penguin.
It's a penguin?
It's a penguin.
He's cute.
And I'm not quite sure what that one is. Oh, sorry. Am I looking at... Sorry, I don't know what's happening.
I like the cat.
For some reason, it's going through them. So, so we'll see if that's the Facebook update that it actually pulls from your actual page as well. So Robert's just said it's tomorrow's session is at 8 o'clock at night. Donna says, I belong to My Hobby is Crochet Facebook page, and there's a lady on there called Rini Astuti who makes amazing jumpers forehand. I can't share them, but have a look if you can. So take a look, peeps. Sally says she started this, so that's lovely, the Bonnie baby. Robert had showed this as well. Oh, sorry, this blinking thing keeps jumping all over. So this is what Robert did as well for the first film, and I'm sure you will recognise this out of Frozen. Beautiful. I love it. I remember Robert making that. Was it about 3 years ago? I think it was.
Was that for the show at the library to go with the Frozen?
He did one for somebody that he knew and then decided to replicate it. And the first one he'd sort of gifted away, and then the second one he was trying to recreate it. But as when we do these things, we don't necessarily write everything down, and I think he had to restart it several times.
Yeah,
I just love that. Absolutely love that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me see if there's any more. Right, okay. Is there any more? I think we showed that yesterday, didn't we? Any more throwbacks?
No, that was yesterday. That's on its way to me.
Is it? Oh,
the riot, yeah.
Goody. Right.
I printed off that shawl. It's all written, and I like charts for crochet.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
I do both, but absolutely amazing. So thank you ever so much, peeps.
Right.
And actually,
go on,
Marion. You mentioned a book to me on where was it? Oh, it was on Facebook. It was actually a
cookery book.
The cookery book. So that's on its way to me. I did order it, and I'll see what it's like when it comes through. But again, if there's a book like Brigitta's recommended there, sometimes you can pick them up for next to nothing, because a lot of them may be used in the Amazon sales for a couple, a few pence, and then you just normally pay about £2.80 postage. So do have a look at some of these books, because even if they're quite a lot full price, you may be able to get them secondhand somewhere.
Well, shall we go to the last of the chat?
Yes.
Safia says that she treats herself to hand dye now and again, and when she has enough, she makes something with it, like the umbrella top. She used 3 different yarns from different people at different events. Oh wow, you better put a picture of that one on, Safi. I'm sure it looks wonderful. Brigitte says, when Rod was still motorbiking, I knitted a waistcoat with the pure wool he bought in the Shetlands. It had to fit under the jacket and still had to have a zip. A mate wanted one. Rod quoted him £2,000. Quite right so. Yeah. Didn't get the order. And then as an aside, Cave Facet is ancient. Safi says that the shawl is gorgeous. And Tracy says that that lovely ginger cat was hers, and he went missing a few years ago, and she wasn't sure why all her photos were showing. Whoops.
Yeah.
And going back to the Frozen, Safi didn't realize that the plaque was attached. It's so cool. And Lindy says, a great session again. Lovely to be able to chat directly with Marion. Got to go now. See you tomorrow evening. Bye. Oh, Judy says she lost us for lots of time today, so we'll say farewell. Thank you. We'll try catch up. I wouldn't bother if it's as it's me. But talking about books, on another knitting group I was with, they did mention a book, and it's called Crochet and Fine Knitting. You can look for it, but it was a self-published book in South Africa, and let's put it like this: you wouldn't get much change out of £100 by the time you bought the book and paid for postage. It weighs in at 3.5 kilos.
Wow.
But apparently it is the most amazing reference book. Oh, that's very kind of you, Janet. She says, hogwash, Marion, you're always worth listening to when you're talking yarn and knitting. And Brigitte says, thank you for today. See you tomorrow evening. Yes.
Definitely.
And I can sit this side with a G&T.
I'm looking, like, as we speak, to try and find that book, because I still love old-fashioned books. I know I use Audible to read stuff, but if there's ever a book that I really like, I always buy the hardback as well. And I may never, ever, ever read the hardback, but
I've got a couple down. No, he's not about. I've got a couple downloaded on my iPad, because you can get them through Apple Books, some knitting books.
Yeah, yeah, which are really good. And the other thing as well, I sometimes have 2 copies of a book, because there is one to scribble in and there is one to keep for best. And I know some people say you can't write on books, but for me, I will highlight them, I will write on them, etc. But sometimes I do have 2 copies, and I know that there's one book that I have 3 copies of, because even 2 of them have got so dog-eared that I still need one that's okay.
Yeah, my photocopy and then write.
That's a good idea
as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I might try that. But hey, it is now 59, so that witching hour.
That Richard knows, just doesn't let on.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Brigitte.
Anyway, I want to say a huge, huge, huge thank you, Marion. Time absolutely flew talking to you. So thank you ever so much for wearing such a beautiful top, sharing the wool that you're working on, and telling us where to buy from around the world again.
Well, everybody's going to have to go once COVID-19 is over.
We will definitely do that. So I hope you have lovely time knitting, crocheting, doing whatever, but just dedicate some time to you for your craft and enjoy it. And we will see you again tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So
take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.